What would be a fate worse than death to supersizing and growing your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, big S on my chest, because this idiom, this expression, the etymology of it reminds me of, or the origin of it reminds me of the book A Scarlet Letter. And this story we all read in high school, or many of us read in high school. I know I had to read it in high school. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember her having to wear the big S on her dress. It was actually embroidered, not on a post-it note, but the point was the same. This idiom actually used to be a euphemism for rape. Not a really great origin, but it was back in the day when it was considered a fate worse than death if a woman were to lose her virtue. And it came from the belief that a dishonored woman might as well be dead because she was probably better off dead because she was then used goods and worthless. Now, thank goodness we don't think and believe that today. But in 1781, Gibbons used it in The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, his work there. And then the current version, the current meaning of it is something that is so terrible that it makes life unlivable. Something that happens in our lives, or in this case in our businesses, that makes it almost impossible to continue, and we feel like we'd be better off dead or discontinuing our business in this case because of something bad that happened. The current version became popular in 1810, and it's now used pretty much as a parody by journalists and comedians, and us describing something bad that happened. And usually we use it out of context, right? Because if some guy doesn't call you back, or a girl doesn't call you back because you wanted to go on a date with them, it's not a fate worse than death, but often we'll say, oh my God, it's a fate worse than death. Or if you don't get a promotion at work, or if you don't land a whale of a customer that you wanted to land for your business, you think it's a fate worse than death. But really, is it? No, probably not. It was actually used in 1914. This is when it became really popular as a saying, was when Tarzan kidnapped Jane, I think it was Jane Parker. I can't remember her last name anyway in the story, but he kidnapped her. It was Edgar Rice Burroughs' book, Tarzan of the Jungle, right? And basically it said when he kidnapped her and dragged her off into the jungle, it was a fate worse than death, because she was, of course, going to lose her virtue, and that meant she would be of no value because she was no longer a virgin. Oh my goodness, how ridiculous is that? Otherwise, it could also be considered a fate worse than death, because who would want to live in the jungle when you're used to living in a posh, modernized world? So what does this have to do with growing and building and supersizing our business? Like I said earlier, often we make things out to be way worse than they actually are. Bad things and good things happen in our businesses every day, and we just deal with them. And if we overreact and if we overrespond, it looks like, number one, we're out of control. Number two, it shows bad leadership form. Number three, it's focusing on the problem, not on the solution. Need I say more? No. We know that stuff's going to happen in our business as we're growing and building and supersizing it. But my question for you today is, what could possibly happen in your business that would be a fate worse than death, or would cause the death of your business? I think things that can happen in our businesses that would be, to me, a fate worse than death are if somebody did something really, really bad in one of my businesses that irreparably damaged or harmed somebody else or another human being. To me, that would be a fate worse than death, and I would want to not participate in that business anymore. But that's just me. It's different for each and every one of us. Every other business challenge and problem, I've probably already been involved in. So I know that I've survived those, and they obviously were not a fate worse than death. And we've had legal challenges. We've had haters. We've had all kinds of things that have gone on. We've had people steal our information and use it as their own or sell it as their own. It happens, and it's not a fate worse than death. We just create new things, and we do new things, and we move on. So love to know if you've got any experience with this particular idiom or expression, a fate worse than death. I'm glad they changed the meaning of it, because the old meaning was ridiculous. If I can help you anyway, ask advice. I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to grow and build and supersize your business today? Have an awesome day.